Kingston Green Radio 87.7. You're listening to Gene Vidler and me, Sean Creed. The time is 24 minutes to 8 o'clock. We're here with you as part of Paint the Town Green Festival. We'd like to say a big thank you to Pre-Vista Home Zone, Cave Sustainable Architects, Organic Energy, Save the World Club, the Organic Hairdresser and Natural Beauty Rooms from the ground up. And of course a big thank you to the Royal Borough of Kingston who've made this all possible, and of course you for listening at home. That was Don't Walk Away by Blue Zoo. We've got Andy Overall on the telephone now. He was a frontman in the band Blue Zoo. They had a hit in single in 1982. Is that correct, Andy?
Yeah, that's correct. With Cry Boy Cry, yeah.
And tell us how Blue Zoo formed, because you started off and you were referred to by the media as a futurist band, which was a movement back then based on electronica and keyboards, and obviously trying to draw analogy to what the future of music would be.
Yeah, we came in at that point. That's where we entered the music business. But I'd previous to that, I'd been in a band down in Essex called The Rave, which was more sort of frantic pop, sort of punk type thing. And that I won a sort of talent contest, and that's where I met the other guys in the Blue Zoo band. They run this talent contest in Bishop Stortford called Triads, and it had the Newtown Neurotics and bands like that on there, sort of punky things. And they were in a band called it's a modish band, which I've forgotten the name of, and we all met there, and we sort of decided that out of the two bands, well, me and members from their band would form this other band, which ended up being Blue Zoo.
And could you tell us back then, obviously it must have been very exciting getting in a band that got you onto Top of the Pops and things. What was it like for you to be suddenly propelled into fame?
Absolutely wonderful. I was living a dream, basically. Way back then, my big hero was David Bowie. So I was just being David Bowie, really. I was just living a dream. It was fantastic.
Tell us about the music genre, because even though you were described as futurist, how would you say you were musically driven, and what kind of sound were you trying to create at the time?
I liked, obviously there was a lot of Bowie influence, but the things that were coming through that were really influential for me were things like The Cure and The Jam, bands like that, and those kinds of elements were feeding into the music that we were creating. But I was writing obviously with somebody else, Tim Parry, and he was coming from different, more dancey angles, like the Talking Heads and other bands, etc. But they created a very interesting little fusion and created an interesting sound. I think we were quite unique in that sense.
Jean wants to ask you a question.
I was just going to ask you, Andy, are you still playing now? Can we still hear you?
Yes, you can. We've over the last year or so, I think we had a bit of it was almost instantaneous psychic sort of. We need to get back together. I don't know whether it's the time in life that you sort of get to a point and you think, oh my God, didn't we have so much fun back then? We better do it again for a little while.
Yeah, it's wonderful to hear if you're getting back together. What's your band called now, or is it the same?
Blue Zoo. Yeah, we've come full circle, and we're sort of, apart from the guitarist, the whole band is there, and it's been really nice revisiting the songs, but we've basically gone right back to the beginning, instead of sort of going back to 2 by 2, which you mentioned, which was the album that we did, which was a bit further down the line. We've gone right back to the early stuff, because we did actually record an album for the record company that they didn't like, but we loved, but then they didn't want to put it out, so that kind of was a bit of a stalling block for us. But we're revisiting that now, and the songs are sounding great, and we've been playing them live and been going down very well.
It must be interesting. I want to ask you a question about being in a band back then that was obviously propelled and had a lot of media attention around yourself. Did you think, wow, I'm going to be famous forever, I'm going to be a multi-millionaire?
No, because I didn't. I never ever thought like that. That was maybe my my problem. I was just going for the moment. I was enjoying what I was doing. I wasn't thinking about money at all. I was going for the. I really like this. I'm on stage. People are seeing me and they appreciate what I'm doing. Maybe I'll become a star, but. People were calling me that, but I was just enjoying every minute. I wasn't thinking about money. Subsequently, if you go into that business not thinking about looking after yourself in that way, you can come a cropper, as we well know.
Now, you finished in 1985. Why did you break up?
I think that I was thinking about that. It's a kind of multifold thing. I mean, there were different ideas about the way the band would be going, which is a standard one. And the record company, I never thought that they were ever capable of dealing with what we had to offer, which was a shame. The management as well, and myself, I just sort of explained about, if you don't go into that business thinking, right, this is what I'm going to make my life, this is how I'm going to do it, I have to make sure that I'm financially sorted and all that kind of stuff. If you go into it with a bit more of a sensible attitude as opposed to my attitude, which was just enjoy this, then maybe you'd come out a little bit better off. But a lot of different reasons why the band folded, I think.
Now, have you found that there's been a lot of interest in your revival that you started last year?
There has. I mean, it's gradually building as well. I think with the 80s revival thing that's been going on a little while now, that kind of shone the light on us a little bit as well. But it's great. I'm enjoying it.
So you reached number 13 in the charts. Is that correct? With "Cry Boy Cry," which was your sort of anthemic song, if you like.
Yeah.
We're going to listen to that now, and then we're going to come back to you and we're going to talk about what you did afterwards, because you've also become interested in fungi, and you've got a website, Fungi to Be With. So we'll talk a little bit about that after we've heard your track. This is Kingston Green Radio 87.7. You're listening to Gene Vidler and me, Sean Creed. We've got Andy Overall on the phone from Blue Zoo, and now we're going to hear his song. This was number 13 in 1982.